This year, I am setting a fire under my butt, and I am putting this on record. I'm going to finish the work on my ant book. I know, I've been saying I'm going to make an ant book for, 5 years now? The first drawing of ants was 5 years ago. I don't know if I officially said I wanted to make a book back then, but I have sort of started work on creating more artwork for that book, and thank you, Cheese. Anyway, let's get into it. This is the Great Ant Whip of 2023, which will be done by the 1st of 2024. In this folder, I keep all of my finished and whips of my ant artwork, and we will be getting into that in just a second. First, I would like to go through my ant, sketchbook. Originally, this sketchbook and all of my whips were going to be completely unseen by anyone on the internet because I wanted everything to be fresh and new for the book, and I didn't want anything to be old. I wanted it to be new content for you guys. But at this point, I'm kind of getting desperate to actually get myself to work on this project. So, like I said, putting a fire under my butt. Back at the beginning of 2020, like a lot of people, I felt inspired by all of the free extra time I had not hanging out with people or, going out and seeing the world as one does. So I had a huge influx, of inspiration to work on my ant pieces, and I dedicated a whole sketchbook. I say a whole sketchbook. It's a pretty small sketchbook, but I dedicated a sketchbook to putting those ideas down because I wanted to contain all of my ant stuff in one place. I penciled and inked 20 pieces in a month and a half, I believe it was, in 2020. And I haven't touched these ant pieces since then. So it's been, oh my gosh, almost 3 years since I just completely dropped the ant project after putting so much effort into it. So here we go. This is the title page of my sketchbook. It just says ants. So here we go, my ant sketchbook. Now at this point, it actually had been, I think, 2 years since my last ant drawing. After I stopped making them specifically for videos, I sort of petered off and didn't do them much. So I wanted to start off small with my first ant piece back, and my first idea was a little island ant. Most of the illustration is the island, and there's just some ants going around the island doing things. So with most of these sketchbook pages, I do sort of plan out different ideas I have, and then attempt to get the layout of the page ready to go, and I just jump into it. Next up, we have space. Not a whole lot going on here. As you can see, my iconic spaceship drawing. Some of these don't have too many ideas. Like I said, I sort of write down things or doodle things that I really want to be in the illustration, get the layout, and then just wing it in the actual piece. So these are just some things that I knew I wanted to make sure was in the piece. And then I also took a whole dedicated page for some reason, trying out pen thicknesses, and then also how I wanted spiders to look. I guess in this world, spiders are aliens? As if these ant drawings weren't already hectic enough, let's also give myself the task of designing a maze. Orchestras, someone taking care of the garden maze, someone guiding a tour through the garden maze, maps. Moving on to, what was supposed to be a general forest. We start off with some different bugs. Mostly I wanted to do mushrooms, but I think once I started to design this forest, I realized this was more of a magical forest or just a general forest. And oh gosh, okay, this is where the whip comes in. I decided that I also wanted to create a magical mushroom forest or marsh. I think with this one, I was going to try to make it very M-themed because we have magical mushroom marsh. Masks, majestic muscle ant, I guess is where that came from. I don't know if I'm gonna go through with that theme because that seems absolutely ridiculous though. I'm loving this strong guy. He's strong. This is literally the only thing I have sketched for a maze. Now, we did have our garden maze a few pages back, but now this is the normal maze, which I guess just means it's inside and there's walls and not, a garden themed necessarily, but just a maze themed. Next up, we have an art museum. I definitely wanted to reference some classic art pieces, but obviously replacing them with my ants. This one was a lot of fun. I did like referencing things. That was fun. Moving on to our Godzilla piece, which I have not done yet. This one, I am still on the fence on if I want to create an actual monster or if I want to do something like the human is the Godzilla or giant kaiju monster in this world. And we have ants with a news broadcast. Cute idea, but I need to do some more brainstorming. Next up, we have a day at the beach. Classic activities like palm tree, sand mermaid bottom with boobs, and a sand snowman. Oh, I guess I was playing around with if between the water and the sand was halfway, or if I wanted there to be less water and more sand. You know, very, very important things to figure out, of course. Ooh, the aquarium. The aquarium is very fun. I cannot wait to color this one, but also a little scared. I knew I wanted there to be a mascot of some sort, so we have an ant in a dolphin costume, or 2 ants in a whale costume. Playing around with the layout on this one, I knew I wanted there to be some really fun tanks and just different ways to see the fish. So this one, like I said, this one will be very interesting to color. Next up, we have our ant farm. No, it's not one of those little plastic containers with dirt in it. This is an actual farm, but if ants were the farmers and they were, you know, making plants, growing crops, and they even have like a dung beetle farm. You know, instead of pigs in the dookie mud, it's dung beetles. But this one was really silly. Imagine a dung beetle rolling a bale of hay for the farmer. Oh, the cul-de-sac. The cul-de-sac is definitely one of my favorites. This one is just so cute. Instead of houses on a road, we have anthills. Does it make sense? No, because of the way ant colonies work. But for the sake of this world where ants are sort of like humans, I think it's adorable. Little details like kids playing in the street. I like how I even had the evolution of using a gas lawnmower, using a push mower, and then also just, you know, using your mouth if you have one. Graveyard. This one was one that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and I actually just inked this one on stream last October in 2022. And I've yet to color it, just like all of the others. Oopsies. But the playground is really fun. I actually looked at this one recently and thought it was a little barren, but it gets the idea through. I think it's very cute. Look at me, I'm like, okay, I know that I want there to be a little bit of grass on the edge just to show where the playground starts and finishes. Yep, I'm gonna want a sandbox there, and done. That is all the layout I need, apparently. Oh, the ocean floor, also another fun one. Let's not talk about, you know, ants going under the water. That's not important. What is important is we have a diving beetle that the ants ride on, and it's very cute. The desert, again, another fun one to explore different animals. We have a scorpion. Is that technically a bug? I think they're related to spiders, which is a creepy crawly, which counts as a bug to me. This one was really fun because I have the view actually fade away. We have some very small details in the background. Very cute, loved it. Also, bug nipples. Too human, I say, but I did put nipples on it. The real size picnic, you know, everyone thinks about ants in a picnic, so of course, eventually I'm going to need an ant illustration where they're at a picnic. I really gotta get on these. I keep saying this, I love this one. The dig site. Think Jurassic Park. There's just a bunch of ants in a pit they've dug out looking for dinosaur bones. Now, I realize once again the consistency of size. Ants are like this big and bones are like this big, but it's a cute illustration. Let's not think too hard about it. Moving on to our ballet studio. Another very cute idea. All I've drawn is a single ant doing ballet in a studio and a couple of ants with a feather, because when I think of, I guess, ballet, I think of the swan situation. This one will be cute if I ever get around to it. No, when I get around to it. Next up, we have the golf course. This one's really interesting because I drew an ant really close to the viewer, so it's very thick lined compared to everything else. Bit of a different view. It's also really interesting in the sense that when you go golfing, you don't have a field full of people. You want to give them space, obviously, to finish their game, but I just have a field full of ants trying to play golf, and it is the best and also the worst. Now, moving on to mini golf. Once again, I absolutely love this one. It's super cute. I themed the golf course on bees. Bees are a reoccurring character that I just put a couple here and there in my ant illustrations. The focus are ants, so we don't want too many bees. So instead of a pool of water where your ball can get stuck in, we have a pool of honey where there's little hive thingies where there's honey. It's very cute. Another one of those where I got the idea and just jumped into it instead of actually doodling anything. So this page is a little blank, but that's okay. Castle grounds. This one's another sort of bee themed. We actually have bees in the castle and the ants are mostly around it, just hanging out to their nights, doing other medieval things that medieval people do. And then we also have a cave where I introduced cave crickets, which I think I'll get to on the next page. But this one's interesting. We have a caveman ant with some cave drawings on the wall. I don't recall if I actually went through with that idea, but we shall see. And apparently I really struggled, or at least wanted to explore a lot of more layouts for this piece. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which I have starred this one as the final decision. Oh, okay, here's our wonderfully full page of my cave cricket design. When I think of caves, I think of cave crickets. Moving on to dungeon, and think Dungeons and Dragons. We've got a lot of mythical things going on here. Witches, treasure, keys, locked doors. Very cute, very fun. Moving on to Candyland. So this is one I actually did from start to finish on stream. I think it was early 2021. I think I was trying to get myself back into the ant drawings, so I invited chat to help me brainstorm and create our Candyland theme. So we've got gummy worms instead of normal worms. They're mining rock candy. Very colorful, probably the most colorful ant piece. I actually did finish coloring this one, if you can believe it. From Candyland, we also thought about doing a baked land, but I haven't actually gone through with this one, and I don't really have any great ideas yet, so this is one I definitely will be working on, including the rest of the sketchbook. Oh, there is more. I actually forgot. I did start another one with chat. We started a zoo, and we decided that we were going to do sort of a reptile themed zoo. Moving on, we have jail. Oh, that's a fun one. Jail. Again, haven't really started on this one, and I do believe that is where the sketchbook ends. I have written a lot of themes on these pages. I was hoping to like get into it, and then I just didn't. So this sketchbook is unfinished, as you can see. And that's it. But by the end of the year, it will be done, or I will be punished somehow. Next up, let's take a look at my whiffs. There are my finished ant pieces over the years, as well as the pieces that I inked and never finished. But quickly, let's take a walk through memory lane. The very first ant piece ever. Do you remember the prompts? It was, oh, do I? Was it camera and bowl of soup? Maybe. Anyway, it's the first piece that started the ant obsession. Moving on to this sort of sideways view of a street. This one is definitely the least busy ant piece I have, but it's definitely one of my favorites. This is where bees looked a lot different. They literally just look like ants that have been painted. I don't think I ever drew bees like that again, so this is from another prompt. Couldn't tell you what it was. First and only time a human's been around, so we'll see where I go with that, especially with the Godzilla themed one. Who would have thunk? Another prompt. I think this was just fall? I feel like there was 2 prompts. Either way, this one inspired me to do the same piece, but through the seasons. So we have winter for this one, the same lake. We have spring, which this might be my favorite ant piece ever so far. And then of course, ending with summer. Of course, we've got to have some Halloween pieces. We've got Thanksgiving, kind of a weird one. I honestly have no idea where they are. They're just in a big open room with a single table and a big Macy parade balloon? Like, what is happening? I don't know. I lost the plot here. Moving on to Christmas, we have I guess, a mall situation. We have our mall Santa, and I did this poolside one, which I absolutely love. Actually, Dave and I just finished the puzzle version of this from Redbubble. Very, very hard, but it was fun. This is our one and only vertical piece. This is a haunted house piece. I wanted to do another whole set of like ant houses, all vertical, so that maybe I could have like a separate book where they're vertical. First appearance of ghost ants also. This ant piece was from me redrawing some childhood art, and I decided to turn it into an ant piece. This one's a weird one. I feel like the vibes might be off, but it is what it is. Next up, we have the Candyland piece I finished on stream recently, and by recently, I do mean 2 years ago. Look how bright and colorful this piece is. Fun fact, I spilled some water or watercolor right here, and I had to try to fix it. It looks okay. Definitely looks like that bee is being possessed by a ghost or something. Also, I created this piece right after creating a very large crayon piece for my YouTube channel, and there's just bits of crayon stuck to the back of this page, and I was super paranoid that it was going to rub off on the other ant pieces, so I just put some painter's tape on the back because I couldn't get the crayon off and I didn't want it to ruin my other pieces. So that's a fun little fact. So this was the most recent piece that I did finish. It was on stream in early 2021, and now we're moving on to some whips. This is one of my space ones that you saw in the sketchbook. I started coloring this one, almost finished, and then stopped. Here is our zoo, our froggy amphibian zoo situation. A snake escaping? Like what? The ants are chaotic, I tell ya. Here is the beach illustration. We have our water over here. Not as full of ants as the sandy side, but there it is. Ooh, I don't even think this one was sketched in my book, was it? This one is mostly a forest around a campsite. A single teeny tiny tent for all like 100 of these ants. I don't know how that's gonna work. Maybe there's like an ant hill under the tent. I don't know how ants work. Actually, that's really cute. I like that idea. I'm gonna go with that idea. Ooh, the ant art museum. Look at these big boys. I think these big boys are probably my favorite part about this illustration to draw. The playground. I definitely put more ants in the grass area than in the playground. I think I just wanted the playground to be so that would be less busy, but there's no logic here. Moving on, oh, the cul-de-sac. Here is our ice cream truck, ant ice cream. Oh my God, it's so cute. Scoops of ice cream, cones for the antenna. It doesn't really look like an ant, but it's so freaking cute. I'm looking at some of these details. I like how I wrote lemon, and then I completely forgot to finish the word and put aid. So it just says lemon. The underwater illustration. There is an ant vacuuming the sand. What? Okay, I don't even know what to say. We're moving on to the desert. Look at me, I drew these almost 3 years ago and I'm rediscovering all of the details. I love art, y'all. All right, moving on to the excavation. The mosquito, just like in Jurassic Park, inside some amber. Oh my gosh, y'all. It's the little details. It's the little details. Here's the golf one. Oh my God, I really packed in the details on this one. Oh my God. This is probably the most crammed these ants have ever been. Oh, the mini golf. Oh my gosh, honey. The honey fountain. The honey pond. Little bee hives that you put your ball through. I need to finish this one. I need to paint this one. It's gonna be so cute. Medieval. Why are these bees wearing like modern English like guard hats? For a what was I thinking? I don't know what I was thinking. I probably wasn't thinking. Let's move on to our dungeon. Fat Ant is, oh my God. Fat Ant has a very long leg because Fat Ant's just drinking random potions apparently. Ooh, our cave. No bee joins? Aw. Well, maybe there is, I just don't see it. Ooh. Moving on to our original smaller forest. Now that I know there's a camping forest, I'm very confused. This one's very chill. There's not really an actual theme. It's just a random forest with ants in it. Ooh, the maze. And of course, yes, the robber ant is in all of these pieces. Don't worry, I did not forget. Oh, this is the original island that I was starting off with. As you can see, very small. The details are just like right here. It was definitely a good warm up to get me back into the ant pieces, creating new characters like the dragonfly. Our garden maze. A lot of shenanigans, honestly, just a lot of shenanigans. We have our ant farm. There's just so many little, I just sat here for a minute in silence, just staring at all the little details. Oh boy. Oh gosh. The aquarium. I love the aquarium. I think I just, look at the smallest shark in the world. If this is an ant, and this is a shark. And last but not least, the most recent piece I inked on stream is our cemetery. We've got some spooky things like summoning evil spirits. We've got some witches. And that is it. That is my grand whip tour of my ant illustrations that will be finished by the end of 2023. Or I will be punished. How, you ask? Well, let me know in the comments below if you have some good punishments for me. Name your punishment and I will consider it. So I will see you guys on January 1st, 2024 on whether or not I succeeded this challenge. So I will see you guys in a year. That sounds like I'm not going to post any more videos. I will still be posting videos. I guess I'm just talking about whatever. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and a huge thank you to my patrons for all of their support. You guys are the best. If you want early access to these videos, secret sketches, live streams, and more, the link to my Patreon is in the description. Thank you guys all so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Not the next year, the next video. Bye.